The wait is on. The preseason is over, and the Dallas Cowboys now turn their attention to regular season 2023 as you turn your attention to Special Edition. Welcoming you into the Star in Frisco. I'm Kyle Yeomans alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton, as we continue to look ahead to the Cowboys and the Giants facing off September 10th on Sunday Night Football up at MetLife Stadium. But before then, you got to set your roster to the 53-man cut list. Earlier this week, the Cowboys did just that, keeping some guys that you figured would be a big impact for this Cowboys team, but also letting some guys go after really the experiments of the preseason and training camp as well. So I'll start with you, Barry. What was the biggest surprise of the week for the Cowboys? Because definitely a couple moves happening in Frisco.
Yeah, there's a lot of moves going on in Frisco, but to me it was that they kept 6 safeties. I mean, to me that's a lot of safeties to keep, but it goes to show you how deep this secondary is and how they can contribute on special teams and all over the place with their position flexibility. But 6 safeties, that's a lot of safeties to keep on your roster.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go to the backfield, and they're going to say that they kept Hunter Lipke. Hunter Lipke was the man of the hour, obviously in that third preseason game, and he found his way onto a roster spot. Because he's on the roster, that means that Sean McEwen, who was supposed to be the 4th tight end, is not on the roster, so that's a big surprise for me.
Jabril Cox, with Overshown going down the way he did, but that's why they kept those 6 safeties, because Marquise Bell would be that nickel and dime linebacker. But that was a kind of a shocker for me. I think he was an up-and-coming guy, but he just didn't make it.
And, of course, it wasn't just about the cut downs. It wasn't just about the additions to the 53-man roster. There were some trades that happened this week for Dallas Cowboys Nation, one of which involving the quarterback position, as Dallas sends a 4th-round pick to San Francisco for former top 3 overall pick Trey Lance. In the quarterback position, probably not the same now as it was a couple weeks ago. Of course, Will Greer showing out in his final game in the Cowboys uniform. He lands in Cincinnati as they pick him up off of waivers. But overall, Isaiah, I mean, the trade for Trey Lance is something that is of value, but also one of intrigue for Cowboys fans across the country.
Yeah, a lot of people are questioning as to what the Dallas Cowboys were doing, and what they were doing was just simply fortifying their QB room. They were able to go out there and get a young man who's in his early 20s who has all the intangibles of their QB1. He has arm strength, he has power, he has speed. He also makes great decisions. Coming off his college career, he had 28 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So a lot of the things that they like at that QB1 position, they have now in their QB3.
Yeah, I think it was a solid move for the organization. I mean, you're taking a 4th-round flyer on a guy that, if developed right, could turn into a potential starter in the National Football League. And then if you look at the Cowboys organization, they're known for doing that. You look at Dalton Schultz, for example, developed him into the receiver or the tight end that he was. You look at D. Law, who came in here as a young, raw defensive end. They molded him into the all-pro that he is today. Trayvon Diggs, I mean, the list goes on and on. So for me, it's a smart move for the Dallas Cowboys. They're known for developing, and hopefully they can get their hooks into Trey Lance and he can develop into something special.
I think the 49ers were looking for the quick fix with this kid, and it wasn't there. So their patience ran out. But this guy has a couple more years left on his contract. He's with Mike McCarthy. He's the type of guy that will try to develop this guy and give him every opportunity. What this kid needs is experience, and I think the Cowboys are willing to take that chance.
Trey Lance was the 3rd overall pick back in 2021 out of North Dakota State. Very inexperienced. He only had 1 year as a starter in college play, but then, of course, just minimal time with San Francisco. Dealt with some injuries there. Hopefully looking for a new start. Let's hear from one of the newest Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, he welcomed me with open arms. This morning was the first time I ran into him. But, yeah, I mean, that meant a lot to me. I know this business is crazy. But for me, like I said, I'm not looking forward at all. I'm just really trying to take it one day at a time. And these guys obviously played at a very high level for a very long time. So nothing but, obviously just tons and tons of respect for him, as I think he deserves and gets from across the league. So for me, just trying to learn everything I possibly can from him.
Trey Lance, brought to you by Texas Lotto, and of course talking about the relationship with Dak Prescott there and having the QB1 really mentor overall. But let's talk about how this could change some things, Nate, for this quarterback room, because Cooper Rush and of course Dak Prescott, they're still here. They're not going anywhere. But how does this change things maybe from a mentality standpoint and definitely from a roster standpoint?
For me, Kyle, it doesn't change anything, because this kid just told you he's coming in and taking it one day at a time. I'm looking for this kid to start making something happen for himself when OTAs of next year come. Right now, QB1 and QB2 is just going to do their things.
Yeah, I don't think it changes much when you talk about Dak Prescott. I think he's tied to this organization for the foreseeable future. When you talk about his contract and the clauses that he has in his contract as well, no trade clause, no tag clause. So I think he'll be there for sure. And then we talk about a guy in Trey Lance. Yes, he was a top 5 overall pick. But this guy also didn't have the ability to beat out Sam Darnold for a backup job with the San Francisco 49ers. So when you talk about Dak Prescott, I think nothing's going to change there. But Cooper Rush, you better keep your head on the swivel.
So, Isaiah, do you think it does change things for Cooper Rush specifically? Because overall, I mean, this is a QB2 that showed he can win games, but it's a top 3 pick. I mean, there's always value that's added in there.
If I'm Cooper Rush, I'm looking back and saying, what did I do? Because you know Cooper Rush is very consistent. He's reliable. He is somebody that's tried and true. However, he does not possess those same characteristics of a Dak Prescott. The biggest thing as an offensive coordinator is you want to be able to transition from your QB1 to your QB2 in a break glass scenario and not have to change anything. That's not necessarily the case with Cooper Rush. It would be with Trey Lance.
So Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott have a new quarterback to have in that quarterback room. Trey Lance now a part of the Dallas Cowboys. But when we come back on Special Edition, Trey Lance wasn't the only first rounder that the Cowboys traded for. They've got a new cornerback in, and they have a new cornerback leaving. We'll tell you about it next.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan.
A fan-favorite event, Market at the Star, presented by Fleestyle, makes its return on Saturday, September 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. out on the Tostitos Championship Plaza. Come shop from 50 or more local makers offering art, fashion, decor, and more at this free outdoor event. Visit thestardistrict.com for more information. Welcome back in to Special Edition as the Cowboys continue to push for their regular season opener. Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Now, Kelvin Joseph no longer a part of the Dallas Cowboys as he is traded to Miami for another first-round pick. Cowboys trading for 2 former first-rounders in the same week. Noah Igbenogany, the corner from Miami, is now a part of the Dallas Cowboys. Straight-up corner trades, straight-up position trades are rare, but this is one that might look like it works out. Why did it not work out for Kelvin in Dallas, though?
I think they had a high acquisition cost in Kelvin Joseph, and they didn't get the return on investment from the defensive side. He was a great contributor, a core special teamer for this team, but on defense, he wasn't providing a lot of value, and unfortunately, there were other guys that did. That's ultimately what got him the boot out the door.
Yeah, you're completely right, Isaiah. When you're picked in that second round, you know the expectations for you are going to be high. You're going to be asked to be a starter or at least a key contributor on the defense. And when he was asked to be a key contributor on defense, he made a lot of mistakes. And not only, when you're young, you're going to make those mistakes, but to compound it and keep making the same mistakes, coaches are going to find a way to get you out of here.
And also, not to mention, Kelvin Joseph played the inside cornerback spot. He was mostly a nickel, and you go and draft a guy like DeRon Bland. Of course, you have Jordan Lewis still in the building. It makes things tough to find those reps. So they go out and they trade for Noah Igbenogany. Igbenogany was a first-round pick in the 2021 draft, same draft as the aforementioned Trey Lance. But Nate, why does he fit better than Kelvin Joseph does as kind of an outside boundary guy?
I don't know much about this guy from Miami and how he plays, so I'm going to have to refer to Barry on this one. Yes, I do.
Our resident defender.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. I think he fits that mold as a bigger outside corner, and that's what Dan Quinn likes. He likes his physical, long corners, and that's exactly what Noah brings. But hopefully he can bring some special teams prowess as well, because even though Calvin Joseph struggled defensively, he was a playmaker for Jim Fossil's special team unit out there. We all remember the play he made in the playoffs against San Francisco, forcing that fumble. So hopefully Noah can come in here and fill that void that Calvin Joseph had left at the special teams unit.
Yeah, and I believe the word out of Miami is that this young man is the hardest worker in the building, that he does a ton of film work, and that he is beloved by a lot of his teammates. So if you could take all those intangibles and bring them and put somebody by the name of Al Harris with him, I think you're going to probably get the first round grade out of him that you're expecting.
Yeah, it's ultimately going to really impact this secondary. You're trying to learn from guys like Stephon Gilmore and company that are going to really help this defense push forward. Speaking of Stephon, when we come back, we got Isaiah Stanback breaking down Stephon Gilmore, really going into what he could bring to this Cowboys defense and maybe try and help out some of the younger guys like Noah Igbenogany.
This segment was brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. This segment is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Plenty of offseason acquisitions for the Dallas Cowboys this summer, one of which, Stephon Gilmore, has a chance to really provide some wisdom, provide some gameplay, and a whole lot more for that Dallas secondary heading into 2023. Welcome back to Special Edition, alongside not only Super Bowl champion Isaiah Stanback, but now Emmy winner, Emmy analyst Isaiah Stanback for the first time. So congratulations, my friend. Let's put it to the test, though. I want you to break down Stephon Gilmore, what he could bring to this Cowboys offense, and really Cowboys defense rather, and really it starts with the run game.
Absolutely, and that's not the first thing that comes to people's mind when they think about a cornerback acquisition for the Dallas Cowboys, but it's one of the most important assets. This dude has been around the game going into his 12th season, and yes, we know that he's done a great job as a cornerback with 29 interceptions. He's one of the best defensive islands out there. However, the run support from the cornerback position can be a defensive coordinator's best friend, and here it is right here. I want you guys to take your attention with his ability to be able to identify exactly what the offense is doing, okay? Here's that wisdom. So as soon as he sees this down block, he knows that the only man between himself and the safety on this defense is going to be him. And where is he at? Right here towards the line of scrimmage. Let's go ahead and see this thing play through. There goes that down, pause it right there. As soon as he acknowledges that these tight ends are going down on their blocks, he recognizes that he is on an island by himself. The line of scrimmage is where? Boom, right here. That lets him know that I have to now be the run enforcement. I don't care what my position title is. I have to come in here and try to make a play. Now, on this particular play, he doesn't save the guy from getting the first down. But again, look at the willingness to come up and be a run defender. Our very own Barry Church would be happy at the safety position, because if this guy gets past Gilmore right here, okay, Gilmore, the only man that's coming there in the line of scrimmage, if he gets past him, the only man that can do anything about it is this safety back here. That has been the Achilles heel of the Dallas Cowboys defense. People attack them with the run game. The cornerback position can help that a lot.
Yeah, and really outside the numbers is where Dallas got hurt a lot last season in terms of the run game, turning up the sideline and not having some cornerbacks that want to step up and make a hit because they're worried about coverage. Now, coverage is a huge aspect of Stephon Gilmore's game as well, because if he's going to bring that energy as a former defensive player of the year, he's going to have to do it in the secondary as well.
Very much so. And this is primarily the reason why the Dallas Cowboys went out and got this acquisition. Again, those 29 interceptions don't just happen by chance. The 12 years of play, well, guess what? That gives you a ton of wisdom and allows for you to be able to identify some of the things that most cornerbacks don't get to see. This man right here is somebody by the name of A.J. Brown. I think Dallas Cowboy Nation might know a little bit about. He's pretty doggone good. Okay, but guess what? This dude right here by the name of Stephon Gilmore is doggone good as well. And I want you guys to see this concept play out. Let's go ahead and see it play out. Jalen Hurts drops back, pause it right here. Boom. Let's go back just a little bit right there. Okay, right at the stem, right at the top of it. I want you guys to look at it. Okay, A.J. Brown is running what we call a hitch and go. It's a 5-yard route where he goes, he tries to sell the hitch, and then he goes on the go play where he tries to make the cornerback jump up here and he can get behind him. Well, when you have somebody by the name of Stephon Gilmore and he's running this hitch route, A.J. Brown there is, look at the eyes of Stephon Gilmore. He is looking all the way through A.J. Brown, all the way to Jalen Hurts, and acknowledges the fact that no, you're not running a hitch route, because I can tell by Jalen Hurts' stance right here, he's not ready to throw the ball. So I'm not going to jump and bite on this hitch. Go ahead and play it through. I'm going to put my foot in the ground. I have my eyes back. Again, eyes are back through you. I'm seeing all the way to Jalen Hurts. Now I can go back there, take away your ability to get behind me. I'm going to force you to the sideline, give you no space for Jalen Hurts to drop the ball in. Incomplete pass. That is the wisdom of a 12-year vet. That's the wisdom of a 29 interception cornerback in this league. And you can see it play out one more time right here. Again, just watching it fast. Boom, eyes back. Sees exactly where Jalen Hurts is with the ball. Sees A.J. Brown, boxes him out to the sideline. Incomplete pass. Even though it's not a pass breakup, even though it's not an interception, it's just as good.
It's the subtle details, no doubt, that makes Stephon Gilmore such a weapon on that secondary and in that cornerback room, because that one look back into the backfield, and you can't get your eyes stuck in the backfield either. That's always a bad thing for young corners to figure it out. That was just a quick glance. It was enough to recognize what the play was happening and how it was happening, how it was unfolding, and then he made a play on the backside of that Colts defense. He's going to look to do that with the Cowboys defense this year. But when we come back here on Special Edition, do the Cowboys have enough pieces here for a successful season? And what would a successful season mean for the boys in Big D?
This segment was brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Welcome back into Special Edition from the Star in Frisco. Back with Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Now, the Cowboys 2023 season has sky-high expectations, but I want to start with you, Nate, down there at the end. Yeah. What are the keys to a successful season, and what would a successful season look like for this team?
And I hate to say this because they're going to add a fat guy always talking about run the ball. Let Dak be who he was his first few years, a play-action pass quarterback. The offensive line stays healthy, his defense is on target, and those are the keys that I think will have this team being successful.
Yeah, I'm with you right there when you talk about being successful, Nate, because this team overall definitely has the athletic ability, the talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to take this team a long way. But to me, it's going to come down to the relationship between McCarthy and Dak Prescott. If they're out there, if McCarthy's able to get the most out of Dak Prescott and he's able to take care of the football, then the sky's the limit with this team. But as we know, like last year, turnovers were a problem.
Health, health, health. If this team can remain relatively healthy, then I think they're going to be in a great position to go out here and not only win the division, but also put themselves in a position to have a nice run in the playoffs. But at certain position groups, they can't afford any injuries whatsoever, and I think we know what those are.
So that's the keys to a successful season. But Isaiah, what would a successful season be for this team? Do they have to make it to a conference championship game? Do they have to make it past that and go to a Super Bowl? What would it have to look like for them?
I think it depends who you ask. I think if you ask the front office, they are looking for one game further than what they got last year. That's as an organization in this league. But if you ask any of the players, they want that ring.
Ooh, since you asked me, they got to get past the divisional round. I mean, they got to get over that hump. I mean, we've seen it here happen before, all those 3 8-8 seasons, and finally they got over the hump. They've been to the divisional round back-to-back years, or the wild card in 2 years ago. But they have to get over that hump and get to at least to the NFC Championship, in my opinion, to see this as a successful season.
NFC Championship game, that's the only way. Get in it, play hard. If you lose it, okay, we'll take the next step the next year. But NFC Championship game, that getting to the second round, that don't fly anymore. Second round is not enough. NFC Championship game.
And of course, with the roster and the talent that you have on both sides of the football, that is the goal, is to get past to that championship game. And I think Isaiah's right. It depends on who you ask. Everybody across the hallway aren't talking about championship game. They're talking about Super Bowl. They're putting the expectations even higher on themselves, and that's exactly what the Cowboys way really is. But when we come back, we do say goodbye to a Cowboys legend. Gil Brandt passes away at 91. We talk about his legacy next.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Special Edition as we wrap up this midweek edition. I mean, this is basically the last time we're going to talk about non-football stuff going into Special Edition, because next week we get you ready for the Cowboys and the Giants. Week 1 of the NFL season is here. But as we wrap things up here on this episode, we do pass our condolences along to the family of Gil Brandt, who really is a part of this Cowboys franchise and forever a part of the Cowboys family. Brandt passed away earlier this week at the age of 91. He really served as the vice president of player personnel for the Cowboys from 1960, the inception of the team, to 1988. And he was a phenomenal front office man, but also a phenomenal man himself, Nate.
Yeah, he was the innovator. He was the reason I got here my second time. I had a First time they tried to sign me, it was, as a free agent. I didn't do it. I went to the USFL. But the next time, he came and saw me personally in the Tampa airport. I had to run a 40 on the tarmac right out there. So, Gil, I love you. Hey, God be with you.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And we will leave you with the memory and the legacy of the legendary Gil Brandt.